Shalom family, let's dive right into some more Israel news. What's been happening in the last 24 to 48 hours. Never a dull moment on God's prophetic clock in the Middle East. Israel is the clock. Jerusalem is even tighter point of that time. And then the Temple Mount, the very center. And all these things are right there showing us how late the hour is and how the world's reacting to Israel and what it's doing to Israel and expecting from Israel and the sentiment towards Israel. I don't know if you've noticed recently the uptick in the acceptance of Adolf Hitler in mainstream media by artists. Even Grok has now come out with his cyber Hitler or whatever thing. It's quite interesting and telling that Hitler's cool but Israel is evil. That should give you pause to think right there immediately. So let's dive in. Syria obviously has now agreed to give up the Golan along with 3 other areas in Syria as buffer zones between Israel and Syria in the quest for normalization with Israel. So they didn't want to. They initially wanted Israel out of their territory, but they've now reached a point where they are accepting that they will give up the Golan completely, which is a big win for Israel, and along with 3 other buffer areas. So Syria's rushing headfirst into those Abraham Accords in preparation for that normalization with Israel, along with many other Arab countries in an agreement with many that is on the cards that we can see coming to fruition right in front of us. A strengthening of an existing framework like the Abraham Accords that is happening very shortly. Netanyahu seems to be saying it's either us or them in terms of who is fated for destruction. We will work out a peace with our Palestinian neighbors, those who don't want to destroy us. And we will work out a peace in which our security, the sovereign power of security, always remains in our hands, Netanyahu said. People will say it's not a complete state, it's not a state, it's not that. We don't care. We vowed never again is now. It's not going to happen again. So interesting for me, the constant use of peace and security in his statements. When they say peace and security, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. Like that, instantly, and they shall not escape. And he says, never again, never again. I've got news for you. If you read the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, you will find that again, and it's going to be worse this time. 2/3 of the Jews wiped out in the process of going through Jacob's trouble that's lying ahead after making a deal with the devil for 7 years of peace for your security. So it's sad for me because I see these things in these statements and agreements being made right now. All the more urgency to pray for more and more Jews to come to a saving grace knowledge of their Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, as found in Isaiah, in Psalms, all over the Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah. Keep praying for Israel. Senior Hamas official says that the terror group has lost 80% of its control in Gaza. Speaking on condition of anonymity, he assessed that Hamas has lost most of its active leadership as well as its military and governing capabilities. There's barely anything left of the security structure. Most of the leadership, 95%, are dead. The active figures have all been killed. So really, what's stopping Israel from continuing the war, he said? Logically, it has to continue until the end. All the conditions are aligned. Israel has the upper hand. The world is silent. The Arab regimes are silent. Criminal gangs are everywhere. And society has collapsed. All the more reason why Israel should finish what they started. You've got 80%. Finish with the last 20%. Round them up and get it done. But now Israel says they don't want to push into the last 20% because they want to protect the hostages. If the hostages are here down to 20%, then work out a plan and go in and get them. How much longer? Then we can call it a day and be done. Trump's Riviera, a look into the new Gaza. Tony Blair, now we know Tony Blair and his push for a Mark of the Beast kind of system that he's been railing all over the world. Tony Blair's Research Institute has produced a plan for establishing Trump's Riviera in Gaza with an industrial zone named after Elon Musk. I'm sure Trump will want that changed. Tony Blair's people, however, deny these claims. So is it true? Is it a possibility? I think yes. They probably have got plans in place for these wonderful dreams they had. Will it come to fruition? Probably not. Too many pressure points from the Arab nations that won't allow that to happen. They'll want to keep their culture and their thing in there, and they'll go in and rebuild Gaza. I don't see that Trump and Musk and those will have all their power there, or Blair. But we'll see. Interesting situation. Defense Minister Katz describes a post-war Gaza without Hamas. Katz confirmed that the deal currently negotiated by Israel and Hamas in Doha calls for a 60-day truce. The release of, and this is what irritates me, again, instead of just releasing all the hostages, 10 living hostages and the bodies of 18 deceased. It is believed that of the 50 hostages remaining in Gaza, 20 are still alive, with many of them in severe condition. So why not demand that they release all the living hostages, keep the bodies, we'll pick them up later. Give us the living ones so we can try and rescue them, recuperate them, help them with medical treatment and get them back on their feet. 20. No, they're going to get 10. Katz added, during the ceasefire, the IDF will retreat from 75% of Gaza that they seized and will remain in a security perimeter larger than the space they maintained during their previous ceasefire. The defense minister acknowledged the main disagreements with Hamas relate to ending the war, how humanitarian aid will be distributed, and the security perimeter the IDF will hold. Katz envisions Gaza being governed by Egypt, the UAE, Jordan, the Saudis, the US, and possibly others. Talk about multiple chefs in the kitchen. Too many cooks? Although there is 25% of Gaza left that the IDF has not taken control of, Katz maintained that having conquered 75% was sufficient, and attempting to take 100% would endanger the hostages. European Muslim leaders visit Israel to promote peace and condemn extremism amidst rising anti-Semitism from Europe. But Europe is one of the biggest anti-Semitic areas amongst the Muslims right now that are causing more and more Jews to make Aliyah and come back to Israel. So isn't that a wicked twist? A delegation of Muslim leaders from across Europe met with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Jerusalem on Monday, kicking off a week-long visit amidst growing concerns over rising anti-Semitism worldwide, caused by Muslims mainly. Organized by the European Leadership Network, ELNET, a non-governmental, non-partisan group founded in 2007 to strengthen Israel-EU relations, the visit brought together Muslim leaders from France, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, and England to promote interfaith cooperation. How about they take these leaders back to the countries they came from and they deal with the anti-Semitism in those countries that is at ragingly high levels. In a post on X, Herzog praised the initiative, saying he was moved and inspired by meeting the delegation. They stand bravely against extremism and they speak out for coexistence and partnership between faiths, the Israeli leader wrote. Here in Israel, we live together side by side, Muslim and Jew, together with people of all faiths, and I urge them to take back with them to their communities a message of hope and peace for the future of the region. Then he says, Inshallah, we will all see better days with our hostages back home and the end of conflicts and suffering in our region. I've got a problem with that. You, as a Jew, even if you're not a religious Jew, should have a problem with that as well. You shouldn't be saying inshallah if Allah wills. Allah is not Yahweh. They are not the same. One is God, Yahweh. The other is a false God, Allah. You saying inshallah to keep your visitors happy or bowing to a false God and giving it honor. In their God's name, if their God wills, their God is working very hard to destroy you, Israel, and wipe you out. You should be giving no honor, no preference, and nothing to their false God. You should be standing strongly and saying, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. There is only one God. Anyway, that's my little rant. That's the latest news. Never a dull moment. Please continue to pray for Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray that more and more eyes between Arabs, Jews, Muslims, Judaism, everybody open up to Jesus Christ and that they have their God moments and turn their lives around while there is still moments before everything kicks off. Shalom.